Today on the show, I have someone I've known for a very long time, a superstar, and he's one of the most dynamic persons actually when I think about it, especially in the entertainment industry here in Abuja. And he's none other than Victor Velmo. How does it feel being interviewed? Because I mean, you do this all the time.
Oh man, I think it's a relief not to be the one sitting there, and it's a bit awkward though. But I feel good about it. I feel good. It's all good.
I'm glad, man. Velmo, good to have you on.
Man, my bro, good to have you too.
Why I really wanted to, have this chat. First of all, we haven't seen it in a long time. By the way,
it's like more than 5 years.
Yeah,
I've not seen
and it's like one of those, social media tricks where like I see what you're up to, and it feels like we sort of see all the time, but that's not really true. So it's really good to see you in person.
Same here, my bro.
And I've been following through. There's been a lot of activities, to an extent, from an artist to being an OAP. You've also done TV, you've done advertising, you've done master of ceremony. Bro, you've done everything, but I want to start somewhere. What made you stop making music? Because I saw that post. Like, I was like, what? Now that I have the chance, why did you stop making music?
I think I got to a point where I wasn't feeling it anymore. And, I've been making music for the most part of my life. I was a teenager when I fell in love with music. I'm still in love with music, I quickly went professional being 18. And, I was getting close to my 30s at that point. And I looked at the journey. It's been quite eventful. It's been quite interesting, but it wasn't giving me what I was looking for at the time. And, I was like, I'm about to set off a new path of my life. And I think I want to try something else. I want to do something else with myself and my career. And then music was taking all the money I could make as a guy. Like all the money at some point. I was like, if I put that money together, I'll probably have a shop in Gudu right now. That was how
I like the Igbo money.
Yeah, I'll have a shop in Gudu, filled up. I'm selling markets. And, that's now I've raised the boy and given the guy an opportunity to start his own shit and trade. So basically music was I think I was taking a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of attention from me, and I wanted to do something else with my life. I wanted to try something else with it. So I was like, you know what? I think we're gonna approach this thing from a different angle. And at the time, what worked most was, just stepping back and take stock, analyze, and see if you really want to do this. And since I stepped back, I don't regret it. I still get people calling me. I was here earlier on. The call I received was from a friend who was singing an old song of mine, saying, I love your song. When I'm on the show on the radio, people still calling and say, can you play us your song? Like, Victor Velmo, when are you going to make songs? When are you going to put out music? Sometimes people just slide into my DM and just say, hey, I've been a fan from Quietly, Nare Kele and all of that. So it just goes to tell me that, I made music and it actually connected to people, like people felt connected. Sometimes there are random people, like random fans, not even friends trying to fans me, like fans I don't know from anywhere. Genuine people who still love my sound. So I still get that. And who knows, maybe one of these days I might just get behind the microphone in the booth and tell the producer, turn me up. Let's do this.
Exactly. I actually really thought that maybe you still make music, but maybe you just don't put them out anymore.
No.
Wow, that's interesting. That's quite...
But I be writing choruses like for days. I just get these hooks. This thing is in you.
You can't,
and you can't deny it. So these hooks they come from time to time, and I just put them down in my notepad. Just put them down.
Have you tried exploring like songwriter? Because that's a big deal now.
I can do it. Like
maybe you should.
But I just I'm staying away from music for a while.
Did music break your heart that much?
No. I just feel like I want to be a fan. I want to be a consumer. I want to consume. I want to enjoy. Let me just enjoy this thing. And the trends are changing from when I left and where it is now. The trends, the pattern, the approach to selling your music it keeps on changing and evolving. So I'm observing, I'm watching, I'm learning, I'm learning. Like I said, these choruses, they keep coming from time to time. These verses, they keep coming.
So we never know, basically.
Yeah, so they just come. They're like, okay, you're disturbing me in my head. You know what? I'm going to pen you down. make a voice note to it and just put it there. So maybe when the time comes, I can just do it. Or I find myself in the studio. Maybe I notice an artist is struggling. I was like, you know what? I think this is what you need right now. Take this hook, jump on this type of beat, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. This can get you, more exposure than you currently have.
Okay, cool. I mean, that's very interesting because, it's still very difficult for me to wrap my head around because, I mean, I've had similar kind of experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, I made music. I'm making music now.
Yeah, you came back. I was surprised. I came back. One day I saw Pro CD. I was like, oh,
that's the thing. That's why when you said, you made it public to say, look, it's been a fantastic ride. I remember the whole how you put it. I'm like, this is harder than
No, it felt like a breakup, like an actual breakup.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like you were
someone. but at the time, I felt like that's what I needed.
Wait, first let me ask you: is it that you met someone that then you broke up with music?
No. Music is passion, is what I love.
I feel you, man.
What I'm gonna do, what I'm affiliated with. I'm surrounded by music.
Yeah.
You don't meet anybody and the person who wants to change you. They either meet you where you are and grow with you and help you, or they leave you alone. Anybody that you meet and wants to change you or stop you from doing whatever you're doing doesn't love you. Like, for example, I meet someone, the person says, oh, Victor, you talk on the radio. It exposes you to a lot of people. I don't think I like that. Let's stop your radio career. And do what? Do you understand? And do what?
Stay home boyfriend or stay home husband.
No.
Anyway, there was something you mentioned that I really caught my interest, and I wanted to talk about. You spoke about, how the trends are changing, how music is being sold now.
Yeah.
Because I have similar experience, especially with Abuja. Take us in on how difficult it was before, and how difficult is it still difficult now? Like basically what has changed since
what has changed is that the role of the internet is now more prominent, in helping you get where you're going to. But before I get to that, I'd like to say the city has evolved and now has its own sound. If you go to like a place...
Interesting. What's the sound of Abuja?
When you hear it, you know it. It's hip. It's hip-hop. It's alter.
For sure.
It's a bounce. It's a certain kind of lingo. If you go to places like the United States, people from the South rap a certain kind of way. They talk a certain kind of way. And it shows in the music. A guy from New York has a sound. And when he drops his music, it's a kind of way.
Yeah,
and
then we just
consume it. And we have the same thing going on here in Nigeria. Like a guy from who's from Lagos, who's from Ibadan. When you hear their song, they don't care about where you are in Nigeria. They just want to give you that Yoruba lamba. They just package it and put it out there. And whether you understand the lingo or not, you find yourself singing to it and you move with it. It's been like that for a very long time. And, our brothers from the East, they have also been able to bring out their sound the way they feel, how best they know how to express themselves with music, bringing the sounds, the culture, the bounce, and the beat. But out here in Abuja, it's a bit of a different thing because it's a mixed culture, It's the Federal Capital Territory. It's home to people from different parts of town.
That's interesting.
And one thing that is common among us here in Abuja is Hausa language and Pidgin language, you get me? The more common one, at least that can cut across to more people that we, so far so good, has been the Pidgin. And, they found a way to infuse it. Like I remember a line from SK's song, it's a Banaji, the end of the house or something like that. You get me? Like, so it's just the sound. So whenever you are flipping through the radio stations, a song comes up, you say, this one Abuja, this one Abuja. And it's a good thing now. So the city has evolved in terms of, its sound. And it's a lot more easier, yet a bit more difficult to navigate now. So navigating the music scene here in Abuja, which eventually is going to get you to where you need to go to, is the power of social media. Can you get as many eyes on you as possible? Can you sell yourself? And then your music. I came across content that says you're not a musician yet. You're a content creator that makes music.
Interesting.
Especially in your come-up days, until you grow your fans and you grow your audience, then you can now become a musician. That's why you see an average musician who's thriving now, and just trying to make it. The person keeps on putting up posts, putting up contents every time. They're sharing the post. You're like, oh, I saw this post on this page. Let me go and check it. By the time you get there, you're scrolling back. They don't go down so fast. So that's what's happening. So the earlier an artist who's on the rise understands that you're first of all a content creator that makes music, and what you sell is music.
That's massive,
the higher your chances of hitting it big. I met an artist and he shocked me. His name is Billion Boy. Is that his name?
Okay.
He has a song called Billy Billy. He featured Bella Shmurda on it. So I was like, okay, tell me about your song. Tell me about his start. He said, I started as a content creator on social media. And from there, he grew the fan base to a particular point, and then he introduced himself as a musician and took down everything he has been putting up to crack them up. And this guy, Apple Music rated him as up next, I think 2 months ago.
That's
Apple
crazy,
Music put him up as up next. So it's just what it is. That's just how it is now.
That's crazy. I mean, I've had a lot of people talk about, the power of the internet, and obviously we see it in the likes of Odumodu, just everybody right now.
Oh my goodness.
We can't stop saying shout out to Odumodu.
Oh my goodness.
But like, it's the way you put it. It's so simple and clear. Yeah. Basically, content. Why this is very important also is because, I get a lot of sometimes, people, young artists, maybe not even that young, but like just general artists come to me, and I try to tell them the same thing. Like, look, it's not the way it used to be. Even if a label wants to sign you, you still have to have been able to build a fan base.
The first thing the label is going to look at when they want to sign you, surprisingly, is not about how nice your vocals are. It's not about how good your bars are. They want to see the numbers you have, the eyes on you. Facts. How many eyes, how many people love you enough to leave a comment on your post, on your music that you're selling. You see this guy, First Class is on the rise. He's on the rise right now. The thing is, he started putting out content. He was consistent with the content that he was putting out. And you see where he's at right now. I mean, like right now, everybody in the city is like looking and waiting for, okay, what's next from First Class? What's going to happen? I think this guy's about to break out. This guy's about to break out. Sure. So that's just what happens. You get me? And if you're still an artist who's struggling to come to terms with it, I'm sorry. You may never break in at the time you're supposed to. You get me? You have to find your rhythm on that space. And I haven't said that some people can be depressed because social media normally is a place where if you are not doing it correctly, you may start to feel bad, like things are not working out for you in your life. You get me?
So 5 likes and shit.
It's heartbreaking. So crazy, so if you're an artist, you're struggling with that. You're feeling some type of way, like, oh, people are not giving me the attention I needed. Keep trying. Find your rhythm. And if you're a lot younger, it's better for you because, let's say, for example, you're still in school. People from your department, your faculty, they know you. That's a good place to start getting your fans. If you're just going to serve, that's a good place to start getting your fans. Wherever you go, introduce yourself, introduce your music. All these people come together when it's time for you to put out a post. Like, there's a guy who's also on the rise now, The Magic. I knew him like 2-3 years ago. He was just there, just me, but now he has a song that's popping. It's called The Moon, and I see he got a deal with Sony. But apart from the deal he got with Sony, right now he's paying a lot of attention to his page. He's putting out these contents. I am observing, I'm closely watching. I'm like, okay, he's found something. He's getting something right now. This is aside from having a good song. And when you have a good song to go with this, then
it's a good combination. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, you're an OAP, I mean, one of the best in the city. We've been blessed to hear your voice over and over.
Thank you so much.
I mean, from Kiss to Hot to, everywhere. First of all, you guys actually do move around a lot. But
just to answer that, it's just the hustle, the quest to improve yourself. And, just tell yourself, I think I can do this. I believe in myself.
Okay, sounds good. But, here we are talking about social media. And I remember, for example, like, when I was, I think the last phase of my active days of making music before I started now.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm working on an EP.
Nice one.
Yeah, it's still in the works. But at that time, it was basically one channel. You just had to go through radio, mainstream radio, and TV.
Mm-hmm.
But so now that leads me to the question: how does radio and social media work side by side?
Yeah.
And also from a radio perspective, is social media a threat to radio? Because I feel like some artists don't even, are like, I'm just going to focus on creating content, like you rightly said. And, what does that mean for radio?
All right. So what it means for radio is that if you are an artist, you have to keep up. All right. So it's just like saying, I'm only going to promote my song on TikTok. TikTok is where it's happening right now. The algorithm is a lot better.
Yeah.
What have you not? And then you ignore Instagram.
I see.
You get my point.
Yeah,
so for an artist who intends to, just be out there and popping and all of that, people where you need to get your song on is on the radio. Aside the fact that you are popping on your page, people are leaving comments there. Don't neglect the radio stations because a ton of other people are still listening. Remember, we're in a third world country, in quotes, because you have access to data, access to a good phone does not mean
everybody
people
else
do have access to all of that. A lot of people don't. I mean, like, I'm guessing you don't, if I give you a recharge card now, a physical recharge card, you'll struggle with, what's the pin again?
You don't even remember.
Yeah, but I can tell you that a lot of people still use that. You get me? So radio is still vital. Radio is important. And more so when your song is playing on the radio, a shitload of people are listening, and that is a chance for you to grow your Shazams.
Make a lot of sense.
Your song is going to play in public. Your song has a better chance of being, in terms of being played in public, your song has a better chance of being played on the radio station than played in a club.
That's a very vital point.
Played in a club, in case you're looking for people you want, because the idea of your song is getting multiple people to listen to your song. That's what you're doing. You're selling a product. A lot of people are listening on the gram. Those are people just there on the gram. I could bet you not a lot of people go and I hear that song. They'll now bring out their second phone and Shazam it, or scroll down and put on the Shazam just to get that song.
Or the link.
Just go like, oh, nice one. And they ignore. They want to see it a second time or a third time. But when it's playing on the radio, or in a club, so to say, or in a public space where you have 50 people, 40 or 100, and in case of a radio, millions of people are listening at the same time. Trust me, somebody's going to hear the song and be like, oh, okay, let me Shazam it.
Yep.
And also, the beauty about your song being played on the radio in use of Shazam is to tell you how many people were curious enough to hear your song. How many people were curious enough to say, who's that guy that sang that song?
Yeah.
So that's just one of the things. So I think as an artist, maybe if you cannot get all the radio stations to play your song, at least, the same way your song is on Apple Music, it's on Spotify, it's on any other DSP available, get at least 2, 3 or 4 stations to play your song. They should grow with you. They should know your story. They should know your story. Like for First Class, because he's the one popping. I remember the first time First Class came to me, he wanted me to play a song of his. He came and the song was good, but it was anti-educational.
Oh.
You get me? Something like, I know one go school. I'm like, not with where we are as a people. I cannot play this. I don't feel good about playing this song. But his subsequent releases, I'm on it. I'm on it. I am on it. And trust me, more people are listening than you think.
I mean, it's interesting because for me, like, I grew up with the radio culture.
Yeah.
And just to add, for people like me, radio means a whole different experience, a deeper experience than anything else can ever mean. Because, like, just listening to the OAPs, and their style and their personality they bring also, it's just spice it up. How different people introduce their shows, their topics, how they introduce the music,
and
it's an art,
Yeah,
so
it's an art on its own. And
I'm just a bit, I was just a little bit worried that, with the kids nowadays, it's like that art is almost, a bit not as, I'm like, huh, you guys are missing out, man. This history. You remember from like way back, those days of Tien Gang,
the Benny
Dabua, Doshima Dabuazwana, like this, yeah, exactly. So that's why I asked the question. But now let's move on to I want to talk about Afrobeats.
Yeah.
Talking about how things are changing. It's good to witness all this revolution televised, But with Afrobeats, I mean, it's just amazing. Afrobeats is like, the story of Afrobeats is like the story of Odumodu Black for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember how this thing was just growing and popping and all of that. And now it's worldwide, right? But then there's also a lot of issues around it now.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'll just touch two parts. For example, people wanted to define some people start to feel like, Afrobeat is boxing them. I'm sure you've heard some of the comments coming from Wizkid.
Yeah.
And some of these A-list celebrities in music. What's your take on that? My question really is that, I feel like Afrobeat is something we've struggled to build. And when we were building it, when I say we as a collective, as a people, including the Wizkids and the Burna Boys, they were struggling to build it too.
Yeah.
And then now Afrobeat has become something, and they have become something because of Afrobeat as well, And all of a sudden, it's like some people are kind of taking a piss on it.
I think in the case of Wiz, Wiz has dipped in form a long time ago. I'm a big fan. I love his music, his craft. I love his art. I'm not going to take away what he has done for the culture. That is there. It's standard. But in terms of form, in terms of understanding where the music is at right now, his form has dipped. So I can understand when he's trying to say, oh, I'm not an Afrobeat artist, I'm not this, I'm not that.
So you think that's coming from some insecurity about?
Of course, it's clear. It's clear that this is coming from a place of, oh, don't put me in that category. Yeah. I am more than this. I am more than that. I want to do more. I am not with you guys on this. But hey, you were enjoying this thing when you were guy right in front, when they were saying Wizkid from Nigeria.
You were that guy.
And